Hey guys, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here. Hello.
Right. Pedalboard challenge.
Yeah, just in case you're wondering, it's Halloween. We're filming on Halloween. And in Ode to Nigel Tufnell, this is an exact replica of my insides.
But wouldn't be green though, would it?
Yes, right. Hand luggage pedalboard challenge. Here are the rules. Rules. You must assemble a versatile selection of pedals capable of handling a common pub or function gig.
Right.
So you're just going to do a gig. You can assume there will be some random amp and or direct feed at the gig. You don't know what this is yet.
Right.
All components, including cables, a change of clothes, whatever ablution apparatus you require, must fit in one person's hand luggage allocation as defined by budget airline EasyJet.
Nice. Okay.
That is to say 56 by 45 by 25 centimetres, whatever that is in inches, like 1,000,000 inches by 1,000 inches by 2 inches. For our American friends, there are currently no weight restrictions on hand luggage, although we'll get into that.
Okay.
Within reason.
Right.
Yes, you have speedy boarding, which means you get a small laptop bag as well.
Okay.
We always buy speedy boarding.
We do.
It really helps. Your guitar is separate. As everyone knows, you need to book another seat for that nowadays anyway.
I love doing speedy boarding. Look, ooh, we got speedy boarding. It's like, yeah, but we are on EasyJet. So, you know, it's
and those
balanced.
2,000 people have also got speedy boarding. Yeah. Actually, shout out to EasyJet. We'll say thanks to the staff of budget airlines as we go through the show.
Yes.
Not so much to their bosses, but anyway. Your guitar is separate. As everyone knows, you need to book another seat for that nowadays anyway, or put it in the hold.
Right.
So that's not in the hand luggage allocation. The winner, judged by Simon, shall be they who make the best sounding rig in conjunction with the supplied amplifier, with bonus points for setup speed at soundcheck, ingenuity and creativity.
Okay.
I'm not sure I've scored.
I'm not sure I scored well on any of those.
So that is the challenge. Bear your board.
Okay.
Right.
Please be my guest. Okay.
Right. 55.
Yep. Well, I know this is.
You're not getting on. 58. You're over.
No. This is specifically. Oh, I bought this yesterday with a tape measure because it's made for.
To be honest, I see people getting on budget airline flights with cases bigger than that every day. 45. You're in, easy peasy. 25, I think it is. Easy peasy. So I think, would you not, if you didn't include the wheels, you're in. But with the bottom of the wheel, you're out by a centimetre.
I was so, anyway.
You would need the most jobs worth, because honestly, people get on with bigger stuff than that.
Yeah, they do.
We'll talk about gig bags in a minute. But
okay.
Anyway, okay. So as you can see, mine is smaller. They might not let me because it's more than 25 with that pocket up.
Right.
So that pocket needs to be flat.
Okay.
With
so
nothing
you might
in
need
it.
To tape that down.
Yeah.
Right.
Or whatever. But as you can see, it's smaller
you're
than
well
yours.
in. Yeah.
So I'm in, and I decided that is my hand luggage.
Okay.
Because Dan, other requirements: change of clothes, and whatever ablution apparatus you require in your case.
Yes.
Can I see?
Yes, it can. It will reveal the board. Are you ready to see everything?
Let's do it. You go first.
All right.
Actually, run VT.
Okay, it is pedalboard challenge day. The rules state that I need to have a pedalboard that is to cover as wide range of tones as possible that fits inside the carry-on for an EasyJet. So this is my case that is as big as I can possibly take inside an EasyJet plane. So I'm actually going to build from scratch a pedalboard that fits exactly inside the case. Okay. Another reason I'm going to build the pedalboard from scratch is I've just bought this wicked cordless Ryobi circular saw. So any excuse to use that at the moment. Right. So I'm going to have Right, as a tuner, I'm going to have a low gain overdrive, mid pushed overdrive, higher gain. I've not decided yet. Purple Plexi sounds amazing, but this is arguably more flexible, so I'm not quite sure which one of those two I'm going to choose. Right, the Strymon Dig for delay. I've really been enjoying this lately. It sounds really great. Of course, it's going to be wet dry, so I'm going to have a humdinger. Cinco patch bay on the outside, so because I'm going to have a wet dry, so it just enabled me to make those connections easily. Okay, I'm going to have my modulation, so the Ripley Fall, which is a phaser and a chorus. I'm going to put that in the loop of a wetter box to enable me to blend in as much of that modulation on the fly as I can, or as I want. I love doing that, so yeah, hopefully that's going to add extra bonus points. Reverb I wasn't quite sure about, because normally the amps I play have reverb, but I wanted to have this on the board just in case if, so if I'm stuck with an amp that doesn't have reverb, I'll be able to just turn that on. So I'll probably have this at the end, like after everything, and just, if the amp doesn't have reverb, I'll just leave that on all the time. Okay, let's measure this case up and get building the actual board. So I measure out the inside of the case and I cut the board so that it fits nice and snug, and it'll give me the maximum surface area to get as many pedals on there as I possibly can. Then it's going to be a wedge-shaped board, so I'm going to have the power sit underneath. So cut out the wedges in the back, I'll glue and screw those on, and then make sure that everything fits nice. I then drill out the side where the Cinco is going to sit so I can do all of my connections. Then I hit it with some spray paint, do some Velcro, and then we're done. Okay, so where are we at? I've got trimming the edge of the Velcro on the edges. Okay, then the board is done. So normally what I would do is I'd put the patch cables underneath. But with this one, to keep it really simple, I'm going to leave the patch cables on top. But I am obviously going to run the power, because all the power supply stuff will live underneath. So as far as drilling is concerned, all I need to do is drill, like wherever the pedal sits on the board, is just drill a hole through there so I can drop the power cable through there and then connect everything up underneath. But I mean, this is obviously thrown together, but so far that I'm pretty happy with that. And obviously it fits just so perfectly snugly in the carry-on. Yes. Okay, so I'll get the pedals all in position, and I'll start drilling those holes, and then we'll start getting we'll do the power, and then we'll do the audio. So once everything is in position, I'll start marking things out and then drill holes for the power. So I'm just dropping the power through, and that will sit underneath. I take my time doing this. I want to make sure that ergonomically everything is working. I need to be able to get my feet to the delay for tap tempo and things, then sort the power out underneath, wire it all up, and she's ready to go. Right, we're all done. I did swap out the Purple Plexi for the El Diablo. The Purple Plexi does sound so good, but this has probably got a wider range of usable tones. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. If Mick kicks my butt with this challenge, then I'm going to blame the fact that I made a poor choice swapping those two out, but it does sound great. Okay, so the signal path is my guitar goes into the polytune, then loop 1 is the Ryra, and then loop 2 is the Euphoria. So being able to push the Ryra into the Euphoria to give me more of a mid-shaped, mid-pushed tone, and then loop 3 is the El Diablo. Then loop 4, I've got the Humdinger. Let's have a look under here. And that is giving me a split for a wet dry. Okay, so the power under there. Right, and then loop 5, I have the wetter box, which has the Ripley Fall in the loop of the wetter box, which enables me to blend in how much of that modulation effect that I want. And then loop 6, I have the dig. And then after that, that goes out into the hall mod. And so this is only if I've got an amplifier that doesn't have reverb. Because I always loved a tiny bit of reverb, and I really love the sound of this thing. So if I've got an amplifier that doesn't have a reverb, I'll just turn that on and just have a tiny little bit mixed in all the time. But if the amplifier does have reverb, that will stay off. Okay, I think we're done. Let's plug this in and have a go.
Right then, size of pedal board, that's going to be the hardest thing. 56 by 45 by 25. Option 1, my modified pedal train Metro 16, 40, 20, yeah, plus the bag, easy peasy. So Metro 16 will fit. I think there's an even smaller one here. I think this might be a Nano Plus, left by Joey Landreth's bass player John, because I gave him another pedal train that was a bit bigger. This is a Nano Plus, and I don't think this is going to be big enough for me. 46, yeah, plus the case, easy peasy, that'll fit, so that's an option. Slightly bigger pedal train, Metro 24, which I think is going to be too big. 60, too big. Metro 24, you're out of there. Wild card, which I really would like to use if I can, is my Schmidt Array SA250. That will be the entirety of my hand luggage, I think. But we have got the Speedy Boarding. Now, it's about 42 long. It's slightly over depth with this top thing. So with that pushed down like that, it's under. But if I fill that with stuff, it's going to be over. So I can't fill the front pocket. It's well in. The Schmidt Array 250 is well in the EasyJet hand luggage. So my inclination is to go with that if I can. But I'm going to choose the pedals next. And if they'll fit on the small pedal train, I'll take that because it gives me more space in my hand luggage. But at this point in time, I'm leaning towards the Schmidt Array SA250. Right, pedal choices. Here's where it gets really difficult. In terms of the pedals themselves, I want a couple of drive stages, reverb, delay, and modulation, just to cover all the bases, but I also want something preampy. If I end up with an amp that I don't really like, I want the option of just going into the effects return with a valve preamp. Gain stages, D&M Drive, absolute shoe-in. 2 gain stages that are, that are mine and Dan's, so that's an absolute shoe-in. That's got to go on. The colour overdrive, and when I say that, sometimes that's a fuzz or sometimes that's Thorpe Warthog was on there for a long time, just something that's a bit more distortion-y, that's got a bit more colour to it. I am loving the Walrus 385, so I'm going to try and get that on there if I can. Next will come modulation, Jam Ripley Fall all the way at the moment, phaser and chorus, which when used together can give you various phasey things like rotary speaker or harmonic trem, kinda, not really, but sort of part of the way there. So, but for the chorus, the phaser and the combination thereof, that seems like a shoe-in for me. Delay is the hard choice, right? So, absolutely loving this just recently. Diamond Memory Lane Junior just sounds utterly incredible. However, it is kind of a one-trick pony once it's on the floor at your feet. Better in terms of versatility, but maybe not sonically, is the Boss DD200, because I can have 4 presets in there. So I could set up like a drum delay for an echo rec, a nice clean digital delay with modulation, which 2290 kind of thing, and a nice warm analog delay. So that's currently favourite. And if space is a real issue, Echo Sex Baby by Fox Gear, where you can get just one repeat for a nice analog type delay, or you can go for the full on echo rec type thing. Yeah, actually, you know what? It might only have one head. Anyway, so that's if space is a real issue. And reverb, Catlin Bred Topanga, if Kirk Fletcher uses it, it's all right by me. Honk. It might be that the amp's got reverb in it, but it might be that it hasn't. And I'm one of those people that really can't play without reverb. So I mentioned something preampy. I'd always use something like Kingsley Constable, which is the Marshally one. However, space is an issue. So I'm probably going to go with the Maiden, which in this case is a Dumble style preamp. Sounds spectacular, and you can hit the effects return on any amp with this, and it sounds good. It's also got a push-pull mid control, which kind of either peaks the mids or leaves them flatter, which could be a real boon in terms of getting this to sit with whatever amp it is I end up with. Last two, if I really don't have space for a tuner, I won't take one, and I'll use a headstock tuner, but Polytune Mini because it's tiny. And if there is room underneath or somewhere, I want a wet dry option, which is almost never likely to happen, but you never know. So I'm going to get one of the boards out and let's see what fits on logistically speaking, and then see about wiring it up. Pedals, so I'll put all those over there. The table will shake, the microphone will bang. Metro 16 then. Don't think that's going to work. Okay, one benefit of the Schmidt Array is that I've already got it wired up with some power in there, so that's going to reduce my time taken to get it all wired up. So we'll forget about a switcher, sorry Dan, forget about that, and start thinking sensibly about getting some of this stuff on there. So I think that's the way we're going to go. So let's begin the build. Maybe that in there somewhere as well. Let's see how well I can do this. Well then, colour me surprised. I plugged it all in, got it all on there, found a load of patch cables that were just hanging around, and it worked. First time, everything worked. So wet output, dry output. I've got the Ripley full going to both wet and dry, which I wouldn't really have in an ideal world, but anyway. and the reverb and the delay going to wet. Maiden works great. D&M Drive sounds fantastic. I haven't got my second gain stage, unfortunately, but who knows, there might be space in my other bag just to tag that on the front. I've even got the tuner on there, and to my astonishment, it works. Also, even got expression pedal control for the speed on the Ripley Fall, so I can do pseudo rotary speaker things. I am astounded that that all came together first time, because it pretty much never does. So, I don't know. A little bit of quiet confidence. See you tomorrow. It's 8 PM. I'm going home, have some dinner. See you tomorrow. Come on then, show me what you got.
Okay. Right, so I took this to heart. I went down to TK Maxx yesterday with a measuring tape because I needed a new one anyway.
I think you should take that measuring tape back.
I think so. Right, so
shout out to TK Maxx.
I
love TK Maxx. Again, it's called TJ Maxx in the States, I think.
So I managed to fit everything in here I need, including my copy of Viz.
Oh, mate. Plus 10 points for Viz.
Plus 10
we were talking about the bottom inspectors just this morning.
So I've got my clothes, I've got the leads, I've got expression pedal that I need. It's going to go on this side here.
That is impressive.
But I made the board from scratch.
Wow.
To exactly fit the case.
No. So we're going to see about that in your video, won't we? Creativity, ingenuity. I think you've just scored some major points there. Okay, we can do. We're done with that then, aren't we? That can go. I think also I would just say that the way you've packed it in there, if you did get a particular job's worth and they said no, you're not allowed that on, if they threw it in the hold, you've got padding both sides.
Yes.
So it would be fairly.
It'd be okay.
Relatively safe. Just quickly before we hear it, what have you got? I can see 3 gain stages.
Yep. So I've gone with the. This is actually my input. Okay. I've switched over to true bypass, and I tested this yesterday. The true bypass on it's actually really good. So that's my input stage. I've got 3 gain stages: Ryra, Euphoria, and the Diavolo Overdrive.
Designed by Carlos Sorasio.
Indeed.
Carlo Sorasio, sorry.
Then I've got the our wonderful custom
Ripley Fall.
the Ripley Fall from Jam Pedals, and I've got this in the wetter box because normally I would have a wet dry rig, okay, and if we have a look underneath here, I have it all set up for a wet dry rig as well.
Nice.
But
that's very tidy.
If I don't have a wet dry rig, then I can blend in how much modulation I want, and I'll do that in real time.
Winner.
With the expression pedal.
Winner, chicken dinner.
All right.
Let me just have a quick look. Let me have a quick examine of your power here. So you've used the Gig Rig modular power supply. Surprise, surprise. Generator, distributor, isolators.
Yep.
You've only got one high current thing that required.
Exactly.
This is nice. What is that? That's
just
plywood.
Just ply.
And it's glued and screwed, or just glued?
Yep, glued and screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, it was done quick. You know, so it's not my best work ever.
I've got to say, it's pretty good. You've even rounded the edges.
I have rounded the front edge.
Oh, mate. With little, we can see what's going on here.
Yeah. And there's also here for the Synco output there. Oh, so, yeah.
That is really, really impressive. And then
delay. Then we have delay, and then from the output, so the delay's in loop 6, and the output goes into the reverb pedal. So what would happen is, if the amp has reverb, that'll just stay off.
Yep.
If the amp doesn't have reverb, I just have a tiny bit of reverb on all the time.
Yep.
I don't actually use it for effect. I just use that to give a little bit of sense of space.
Yep.
So it's either on or off for the gig.
It's pretty cracking. It is pretty cracking.
Okay.
Right. So as I said, I've gone with the I've used the Schmidt Array SA250, which I've explained in the VT that you will have seen before. Again, if I get a massive job's worth and they decide to put it in the hold,
You're
no
sorted.
problem. You can see the last time it went in a hold, nice little dent on the top there.
Ah, nice.
Right.
See, I was looking for that. I came in this morning going, where's the Topanga?
Dan is pointing at the Catlin bred Topanga, which you can't quite see. I'm going to have to explain what's under there,
Okay.
but there is a Catlin bred Topanga. So, again, very briefly, I've gone for 2 gain stages. D&M Drive, obviously, because it gives me the 2 sides of the D&M. I've chosen this because it is a valve preamp. So if I get some sort of the amp that they've given you, which we'll describe in a minute, I can bypass the front end of any amp I want and go straight into the preamp return with a lovely valve preamp. Plus, if I don't do that and I just go straight to the front, I've got another gain stage.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Out through there, off to modulation, Ripley full, same as you, chorus and phaser, and then DD200.
Very good.
You'll see in the video, in the vlog that I made, why I chose that. Small polytune.
Yeah, both are polytunes. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, for size, I chose it.
Yep.
And then underneath here is the Topanga
Nice.
from Catlin Bred. Again, I probably wouldn't use that if the amp's got reverb.
Yep.
Same as you.
So you just have it on a little bit all the time. If it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if-
There we
if-
go.
If you get something like a, I don't know, anything that doesn't have reverb, like some Marshalls don't have reverb, and some Voxes don't have reverb.
I'm really impressed. See, yeah.
And then in addition to that, it's set wet dry. So I've got, we'll hear it wet dry before the end of the thing. Into 1 amp, it's fine, everything's wet, but it will do wet dry, and it splits off the delay and the reverb, not this. That goes to both amps still,
Right.
because of the way I have the signal path.
Yep.
In addition, I've got a expression pedal for the speed of the Ripley Full,
Oh, nice.
which is all set inside, and all my input and output jacks are on the back. Input for the guitar, wet and dry out, and the expression pedal.
I think you've snagged it.
I don't know.
I think
mate.
you have.
I don't know.
I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say, because of this, that's going to give you that. Because I had to compromise when I thought, the reason I use the Euphoria, I really like it. There's not many overdrive pedals that have active EQ that I really like.
Yeah.
But I really like that. So this is my main gain stage, right?
Yeah.
But it gives me, I've got bass and treble,
Yeah.
right? Which, so depending on what I'm using, I've got that to mess with, and then I can, punch it in the front with that if I need to, or that's a heavier thing on the output. Should I need that, or I can have it low gain, because the gain stages in this sound really good, but I think you've snagged it with the Maiden. I think that's a
Simon's
really good
in
shout.
charge, so he will reserve judgment. Right then, enough yabba.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
All right.
Oh, amps, by the way. We got to the gig and there was a Hot Rod Deluxe
Yay.
and an orange Pedal Baby 100. The guitarist from the previous band said, you can use my cab, but you're not allowed to use my head. So someone picked out an orange Pedal Baby from the backstage ephemera. Dan said he wanted that rather than the Hot Rod Deluxe, so we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, mate. Last band is off.
Right.
You've got 3 minute
Okay.
turnaround.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Go.
A one, two, three, four. Congratulations!
Woo!
You made the start of the first song.
I did.
3-minute turnaround.
You like that?
The drummer still can't find his ride cymbal. Excellent, man. That's really cool. Okay. So let's run through it then.
Okay.
Put my phone on airplane mode. So let's have a listen to this amp then. So we've never played the Orange Pedal Baby
No.
100 before. It is a solid state amp designed to go on the end of a pedal board. Tell me what you think about the kind of core.
Yeah. It's that.
Flat, isn't it?
It's really flat.
Super flat, not
Yep.
very interesting.
But all the frequencies are there. You know, I can work with that.
Yeah, to me, it's got a bit of a weird middle thing.
Yeah.
Like a boxy mid-range.
Sure.
So where are you going to go next then?
Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is set the reverb level. Right,
Got,
that's
got a
nice.
bit of pre-delay on there, have you?
Yeah, bit of pre-delay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I've always been a fan of this thing, because you get the tone, so you can warm up the repeats, but you have that pre-delay, so you don't lose any of the attack of the note. Oh, yeah, I've used that for ages. Actually, I really, really like it. I would have used the Topanga if that was available.
Yeah, but it was here.
But it was here. However, I'm very happy with that. It's great.
I'm so confused about reverb pedals. The only reason I chose the Topanga is because Kirk Fletcher uses it.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about reverb pedals, and if it's okay for him, it's okay for me.
You've got a good one.
Okay.
They're awesome.
It's also got fairly aggressive buffer in it, which I quite like.
Right.
Seems to give a like a real spanky. Anyway,
Sure.
We're not talking about my board. All right, so your first song's got like a spanky clean sound.
Right. So, I mean, the clean sound. You know, it's okay. However, what I might choose to do is turn on the Ryra. And then use the volume control on the guitar to keep it. It just gives it a little bit more of an edge.
It's interesting because that boxy mid-range is coming through. There's not, if you were required a scoopy sound at this point, that would be quite hard to come by.
Yeah, certainly with that. But I would say for 90% of the gig, I would be leaning on this.
Yep.
So, and again, I'm using the volume control on the guitar. So set like that's really clean. As I dial up the. So,
Any more air from that?
any more air?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know whether my ears have just stopped working, but there's not very much presence.
Sure. So, I would say, like, generally, that will be, you know, the minimum amount of gain, right? And then I just clean everything up here. But what I'll then do, if I need that but a bit more gain from there, I will kick the Ryra into the front end of that. Now, because it's an open sounding gain stage, by boosting the front end, I'm still getting volume lift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not closing everything down. Okay. And I set up the Diavolo similar, as in it's more gain than this,
Yeah.
but it's not completely closed out, so that again, when I hit the front end of it, I get more gain, but I still get that lift.
Yep.
All right. So, yes, that would be the Euphoria. So that's that one, and then the Diablo. But that still has that boxy thing.
It's great though. It's a good. That would sit really well as a kind of a medium gain rock.
Yeah, and
rock sound.
Exactly. And then just if I need that bit of extra gain, I just kick that to the front of it.
I just want to have a listen to what these EQ controls do on the Pedal Baby a sec, because I wonder if one of them might be mid-rangey.
Okay.
Just. What's interesting is if you boost the bass and treble, you lose a bit of mid-range box.
Yeah.
I think
That's that
Baxendall does
the
that.
classic Baxendall thing. So you think of the mid as a fixed point, you're lifting up the bass and treble.
Yeah.
And that'll keep that.
We just try that a sec.
So
Do you like that?
I can work with that.
Do you like it compared to how it was before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
I won't adjust it back.
Yeah. Okay, so they're the gain stages. Then I have my wet dries in 4. Then I have the Ripley 4.
So in order to use wet dry, loop 4 has to be on.
Yes.
It has no other function.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because the thingy underneath, the humdinger, is in loop 4.
Exactly. Yep. Then I have the Ripley 4, and that is in the wetter box, so I can... So it's basically mimicking the wet dry thing, right? Because if it was all the way on, and I just find that happy medium between the
There is a potentially simpler way to do that, I think.
right.
Because I think the expression jack on the right does depth, doesn't it?
Yes, but it's the depth of the movement of modulation, not the depth of the sigma path.
Right.
That's the difference. So
Okay.
for me, that's why mix control on modulation pedals is just so important. Because you've got the depth of the modulation, the speed of the modulation, but how much of that effect is actually mixed in.
Yeah.
You know, so because it'll be, if I've got a gain sound on,
Yep.
for example. Now I'm going to add a little bit of this sound to the gain. Now that much effects just won't work for me. Like all the time, but this. I love that.
That is absolutely
I
killer.
love that.
That is absolutely killer.
Right, finally we have the Dig. Now I've been using this.
Is it Dig or Dig, do you reckon?
Dig.
Is it?
I think so.
Isn't it Dig because it's digital?
Maybe.
I genuinely don't know.
Okay.
Dig is good.
Well, it spells dig.
It does spell Dig. I don't think anyone could argue with that. Please, comments below. Is it Dig or is it Dig? Do you blow into it and make a funny sound?
I've been using this for a while, and I really like. So it's their remake of a lot of the old 80s delays, but so you can set up the two different delay times.
Right.
But so as I'm not doing any crazy delay effects, although they've got the tap tempo there, but as that thickener, I really like it. It's my favourite small box Strymon delay.
Huh.
I prefer that. I had the El Capistan, I've still got the El Capistan and used that for ages, but I just found a couple of sounds in this that I really, really like.
Yeah, it's simple, isn't it? It doesn't sound coloured in terms of trying to be an analog delay or trying to be an echo rec or trying to be anything. It's just basic delay.
Yeah.
Does it have a tone control on it out of interest?
It does. It's a secondary function.
Yeah. So you can affect the tone of the repeats. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
It's killing me. I don't think anyone's going to turn around and say those guitar sounds weren't good.
Sure. But they're not. It's not like I'm plugged into the Masters or something, but I'm turned up to a gig. I don't know what I'm going to get. I can work with that.
You got there quickly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I've got my gain staging. I've got the boosting there. I've got the modulation. I can ease it in when I want to. Reverb if it needs it, and I do need it with this.
Yeah.
Otherwise it would just be that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that works. Throw that in the plane. Away I go.
Away you go. Very cool. All right, let's have a look at mine. Before the end of the video, we will plug each board into the other amp and also hear a bit of wet dry as well. Probably won't do any commentary, but we will just do that. So
sure.
Okay. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much,
my dear friend. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was the end of the Daniel Steinhardt sextuplet. Next, we have the Tenacious Taylor and his workers. We'll be with you in 3 minutes.
And go. Okay, you nailed it. 2 minutes 40 seconds. Good to go.
Awesome. I'm slightly amazed everything works. As you saw in my little piece to camera there. Okay, right. So I'm always happy with a Hot Rod Deluxe.
Yeah, they're great.
Always, always, always. If it wasn't a Hot Rod Deluxe, I could do this straight into the, or indeed, even if it is a Hot Rod Deluxe, I can do this straight into the effects loop return.
Before we go any further, we have to talk about this.
Okay, we've shown this on TPS a couple of times. This is a 1961 Fender Strat, loaned to me, and I'm very grateful for it. It's a refinish. It was refinished a couple of years ago. It's got a couple dings on it. Guy called Simon Green, who very, like, beyond generous, got in touch and said, I've got the 61 Strat. It was my dad's. I'll tell the full story in a vlog upcoming, but it was my dad's. Thankfully, Dad is still with us. He retired from the music game. Simon likes modern guitars, not old guitars. And he said, and I see you there every week, really wishing you had an old Strat. So do you want to borrow it? And I said, what's the catch? And he said, there isn't a catch. Just borrow it, see if you like it. So that's what it is. That's what this guitar is. And it does sound...
It is unbelievable.
I'm trying to not be too fizzy about it, but it does sound really good.
It's incredible.
I don't want to go, oh, it's an old guitar, so it sounds amazing.
No, I know.
It does.
But I did
really
walk in here
good.
the first day I heard it. You were in here playing, and I walked into the studio. Some of the best guitar sounds I've ever heard.
Yeah. Well, we will get
unbelievable.
We will get into that when I do the Strat vlog, and we can listen to it compared to the other Strats.
Okay.
But, all right. So the Maiden there. What I did was I listened to the flat sound of the Hot Rod Deluxe. It's okay. It's a little bit flat. I'm just going to put a little bit more reverb on there.
Nice.
But this just juices it a little bit, makes it a bit sweeter. And crucially gives me a lot of immediate control over the EQ, so that if I can't get back to the amp, or we're sort of partway through the first song and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's too trebly and I need to change it or whatever, then it's really easy to bend down and do that. It's also got a pull mid thing. So if the amp is a really scoopy sounding amp and doesn't have the mid that I like,
That's great.
instantly you've got some global tone attenuation.
Yep.
So two levels of brightness. If we were going into the Pedal Baby there, I probably would have put it on the first level of brightness. As it is, Hot Rod Deluxe is reasonably bright amp, so it doesn't require any extra. And again, this is kind of the master volume for the amp. So without having to go back to the amp, I've got a lot of volume attenuation here. So I can either use it as an always on, or I can use it just as a bit of a little bit extra. Almost imperceptible.
Sounds so good though.
Similarly, if the amp was really kind of just needed a little bit of edge, because it was super clean and I wanted a little bit of edge, you can obviously just boost the front end. It'll never overdrive a lot, this one.
Sure. That sounds awesome.
If you want that.
Who wouldn't want that?
So gain stage, I really wanted to put Walrus 385 on as a sort of coloured
Right,
overdrive,
yep.
but it just wouldn't fit. So D&M Drive, I'm happy because I get... So even with a vintage Strat with no tone control on the bridge pickup, which is something I normally can't deal with.
Sure.
It's normally too bright. Hello. You get a humbucker guitar. Don't know how many guitars there are at the gig. Is it me? Gosh, come on.
There's a me.
What's that? We see?
That's okay.
What you'll hear from the D&M Drive now is a lot sort of throatier. So plenty of overdrive, even just from like essentially one gain stage. So back to this, because I'd probably be using one guitar. I wouldn't necessarily have it that drivey unless it absolutely required it.
Sure.
But yeah, and then the other side of the D&M Drive.
Let me just hear that without this on.
So that mid push thing.
So good.
Between the two, you've got quite a lot of. You don't think if you've got to set up quickly and it's too loud.
Yeah.
Too loud and too clean, or not loud enough and too gainy. You've just got instant to get there. So, you know, playing your.
Hats off to you, sir. I think you've nailed that.
I don't know.
No, I do know. I mean, there's an obvious discrepancy, and I'm going to get the judges, make the judges aware of this.
Yeah,
However,
you can hear that I'm still fighting with it a bit though.
Oh, stop it!
It does sound great though. It has an urgency that the other one doesn't have, and a visceral nature. Just have a quick listen to that reverb a sec.
Boy, oh boy, that's right in the ear hole.
Yeah, we might have clipped the old thingies a bit there. But...
No, I think you could. Ah, it's spectacular. Absolutely spectacular.
I'm quite pleased.
Should be pleased.
Talk about flyboard. I definitely am missing the fidelity of having everything separately looped.
Sure.
I think the Ripley Fall is not a massive fan of a big buffer after it. You just get this, again, bit of progressive high end. But the only thing I don't have is me thick colour drive, so like a fuzz or the 385 or the Thorpe Warthog or that other thing, a bit like what you've got the Il Diavolo for.
Sure.
That job.
Yeah.
So it might be that sits off the side and is a bit extra, but...
Sounds so good. Okay, so what would you do if you turned up and that was the amp?
All right, let's plug into that then.
Okay.
And then before we do that, we'll go wet dry. And then we'll hear yours wet dry and into the other amp. Does that work?
Yes.
Stand by. Right, so here's where you were then. I won't change your settings.
Okay.
I mean, that is flat, isn't it?
Really flat.
Flat as a nun's pancake.
Instantly.
Yeah, I might go for a bit, might not go for the mid kick. I'd probably go for the brighter setting. Bit more volume, bit more of this. Oh, too bright. So yeah, that's extra bright. Is it that side?
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe back with this mid again then. Nope. So it definitely kicks some life into that.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with
bloody
that.
hell.
Nothing wrong with that. Right. Let's make the pedal baby wet. Sorry, dry. And the Hot Rod Deluxe wet. So this is now wet dry. You'll hear both amps. Dan's trying to reach the phase switch and I've buried it in there so deep
really
it's
have.
quite hard to get to.
Oh, you put the switch actually in the junction box.
Have I? Sounds great.
Awesome.
Absolutely no complaints there.
No. Wow.
Okay, quick change. Now Dan is plugged into the Hot Rod Deluxe only, just for a second. So where you rewind, you weren't given the orange pedal baby 100. You were given the Hot Rod Deluxe.
Yep.
Where do we start?
So first thing's just to set up a his bass tone. Is that EQ on the clean channel?
Yep.
Okay, so a bit of bottom end. Yeah, I'll work with that. gorgeous.
That's
It's killer, isn't it?
that sounds great.
Yeah. So the gain pedals are all now working.
So you noticing a difference between how they interacted with the orange amp and how they interacted with the Fender amp,
Yeah.
right? In what way?
Well, that mid frequency
Yeah.
thing that I can't dial out here
Yeah.
isn't there, and there's also it's just that little bit of give.
Yeah.
In the
There is
Fender.
just a tiny bit, isn't there?
Yeah.
And I personally, from where I'm sitting anyway, am much preferring the high end response.
Yeah.
It's got air, it's got treble, and it's got presence.
Yeah, I've had to turn that down.
Which is really, 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 really what you need in a band situation.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah, so the gain stages are all good. There you go.
That was so interesting. The Fender was coming off the gain stages, I'm just watching the waveforms, and the fender's like this.
Right.
As you step on the gain stages, and the orange is kind of like this.
Wow.
Just much more.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that says about the headroom in the fender, but
Yeah.
it just was definitely reacting more dynamically in terms of what you're putting in the front of it, which is not necessarily a good or a bad thing. It's just it is getting a lot louder and a lot quieter depending on what you're plugging in.
Sure.
Whereas I don't know whether the orange was overdriving in itself, but don't know. Sounds massive.
Yeah.
Wet dry again.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So I have to hand it to you. I think sonically that Maiden, I'm so impressed with that. Instantly, I would get that on there.
Would be interesting to hear that in front of. Oh no, we did hear it, didn't we? I was going to say it would be interesting to hear it in front of the orange, and it did just give it a bit of tubey niceness.
So good.
And for all the people out there who don't buy into all of that and say that we're totally biased against tubes, I think 30 years of playing valves.
Yeah, and it's not we haven't played the other stuff as well.
Yeah,
you know, we really have.
And it just you become accustomed to it over all that time.
Yep.
Oh mate, I just noticed something.
Oh, well played.
Yeah, cool. Blimey. Groovy. Simon, are you prepared to cast a vote?
Yeah, I think on ingenuity, Dan has to win.
Here we go. Bring the pity points on. Let's go. Come on.
Custom pedalboard, and I think Dan's modulation works better, is more interesting and works better.
I agree.
But I think, judging purely on a sound, you have to go with the slightly cheating VCBS strap into a valve pre. So I think
Yeah.
to me.
There are no surprises. No surprises. Yeah. Well
Thank
done.
you. Well played, sir.
Yeah. You see, I spent too much time creating and crafting the board.
Mick's front end into Dan's rear end would be the perfect sound.
I think there just couldn't be a better place to leave it, could there? Let's be honest.
Brilliant, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Also, go and check out thatpedalshowstore.com. It's the way that pays for
everything yes.
that we
you
do.
can't buy this exact replica of my insides, but you can buy lots of nice That Pedal Show merch, t-shirts and other things like that, and it does keep us going. It's what pays for the show.
Yes, so
we don't
thank you
take any
very
money from anyone to feature any of this stuff, so please do that.
Yeah, thank you. Also, to our preferred retailers in the UK and Europe is
Anderson's Music of Guildford in Surrey,
and in Australia,
Pedal Empire of Brisbane, Queensland, who do pay us to say that.
They do. They do. And finally, to our patrons on Patreon, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a fantastic day, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.